2. Previously, we had been working on double digits, 2 numbers on top, and a single digit on the bottom. Today, we're going to be working on double-decker multiplication with double digits. So as you can see, we have a number on both 2 numbers on the top and on the bottom. Now we will work with multiple digits on both the top and the bottom. So this is going to require 1 or 2 more steps to what we already know. Okay, so getting started here, I'm going to show you an example. Here we have 35 multiplied by 16, 35 times 16. So just like before, I'm going to line up my numbers. So I'll have my 35 on top, and I'll have my 16 on the bottom. I typically just put the first number in the problem on top, the second number in the problem on the bottom. So my 16 will go on the bottom. My numbers are lined up perfectly underneath each other, which is very important, especially in this type of multiplication. So I have my numbers lined up, and now I don't have to add any zeros. We already know in multiplication we don't add any zeros. And now I can start with what we know, just simply multiplying across. So I'm going to start with my 6. I'm going to do my 6 times 5. And then I'm going to do my 6 times 3, just like we were doing before. Okay? So my 6 times 5 is 30. I'm going to put my 0 down below. And I'm going to put my 3 up top. Just like we were doing before, just like we do in addition, I have to carry that little 3. I did my 6 times 5, I got 30. My 0 was below, my 3 got carried on top. Now I'm going to do 6 times 3. 6 times 3 is 18, plus my 3 that I carried, 18, 19, 20, 21. So I can put my 2 and my 1 down below, make sure they're lined up. Okay. So my first portion here is 210. I'm not finished though. I still have this 1 right here. Now that I've moved on to the 1, I'm going to do a similar process. I'm going to multiply the 1 first by the 5 and then by the 3. This is a very important step to remember. I need to add this 0 right here. Okay, this is very important right here. I'm going to add this 0 in my first column before I do anything else because I am finished with the 6. Okay, now I can continue with my multiplication. I'm going to do 1 times 5, and I'm going to put that answer below my 1. So my 5 will go here. I'm finished with my 1 times 5. Now I'm going to do 1 times 3. 1 times 3 is 3. I'm going to put it over here. That's my next empty space. That's why it's very important to remember to keep your multiplication lined up. So now I did my 6 times 5, my 6 times 3, and this is the answer I got here. Then I did my 1 times 5 and my 1 times 3, and this is my answer I got here. Remember, we added this 0 to hold the place since we are not working in the first column anymore. Once I've gotten these numbers, here is our next big new step. I'm then going to add these 2 answers together. I'm just going to add these 2 numbers. I'm finished with the top. I'm no longer working up here. I'm now down here. So I'm just simply going to add them. 0 plus 0 is 0. 1 plus 5 is 5. And 2 plus 3 is also 5. Now I have completed my multiplication problem, and this down here is my final answer. Okay, so we've added 2 new steps essentially. We are adding another layer, and we are now adding these 2 layers together to get our final answer. Let's take another look at this. Again, I'm going to start with what I know. I'm going to line up my numbers. My first number is 45. Going to line them up, 4 and 5. And my 22 is going to go right underneath it, so 2 and 2. And now I can begin to multiply just like I did before. So up top I'm multiplying. So I'm going to do my 2 times 5, and then I'm going to do my 2 times 4. 2 times 5 is 10. My 0 goes down below, and I'm going to carry that 1 up above. Okay. Now I did 2 times 5, I got 10, my 0 was down, my 1 goes up. Now I do 2 times 4. 2 times 4 is 8, plus my 1 is 9. I put my 9 down below. We're now finished working with the 2. So I'm going to take away these arrows because we don't need them. Since we're finished working in this row and we're on to our next row, that's where I add my very important 0. We're finished working here. We put the 0 to hold its place. I'm now moving over and I'm working with the next 2. This 2 is going to be multiplied by the 5 and multiplied by the 4. Remember, my first answer is going to go right down below where I'm working. So 2 times 5 is 10. I'm going to put the 0 down below. And then I need to add and carry a 1 still up above. Okay? So then I have 2 times 4 again, which is 8. And then we know the 8 plus the 1 that I had to carry this time around is 9. My 9 goes over here. Remember, this is why we need to keep it lined up. Again, I'm not finished. I multiplied, I'm finished with this area, and now I've moved down here and I've multiplied all my numbers. They've all visited up top. So now I can do the second step, which is addition. So I just need to add 0 plus 0 is 0, 9 plus 0 is 9, and 9 plus 0 again is 9. Now I'm finished. My final answer is 990. 45 times 22 is 990. So, some things to remember is always work from the right to the left. So you start here and you work your way over. You never start with the first number. You start over here and you work your way over, just like I showed you. Another thing to remember is when you're working with the second number here, before you begin multiplying it, you need to add the 0 in the first column, shown here in purple. Always need to add that 0. Another thing to remember is always add the second group of numbers to get your final answer. You're always going to add these numbers. Never multiply. Multiplying is up here, adding is down here. You add these numbers together to then get your final answer. And the last step, which is very important, is don't forget to carry not only with the multiplication up top, but also with your addition down below. Sometimes you might have to carry down here as well. And when you do carry down here, you're just going to carry up to the next column. You're not going to go all the way back up here. You're just going to go right up here. This is its own problem down here. It is separate from up here. So you will have to carry sometimes with both your multiplication section in the yellow and the addition section in the orange to get your final answer down here. This concludes multiplication video 2. While editing the video, I just noticed a mistake while doing this first problem. When I was adding, I did 0 plus 0 is 0, which is correct. 1 plus 5 is not 5, it's 6. And 3 plus 2 is 5, so the answer is actually 560. That's why we always double check our math.